Just waiting for everything to update on my YouTube. All right. So this is standalone video. We'll go through the steps, what you need. So let's go through the bare minimum of the things you need in order for this to work. Um, the whole gift cards to friends glitch depends on being a CEO and having access to some CEO things for businesses and vehicles. So number one is, in order to become a CEO, you have to have a CEO office, and you find that at the Dynasty. So if you open up your mobile app, go to Dynasty under Money and Services, actually, go Dynasty 8 Executive, and here you select offices, and you'll have a number of offices that you can select. I have the Maze Bank because I merge a lot, and that's exactly the one you want to have when you merge a lot. Once you have your office, inside of your office, you have to go in and get a vehicle warehouse. Let's go to the office and I'll show you. So, oh yeah, I'll give a summary. So, the way that the gift card friends glitch works is, I'll just go through a high level summary. You have a friend that wants to give you a vehicle. So the word friend is very important because you actually need to be friends on PSN in order for this to work. That's number one. So they want to give you a vehicle, and in order for that to happen, they're basically going to invite you to their vehicle warehouse, and you're going to have a vehicle warehouse. They're going to have a mobile operations center. You're going to have a mobile operations center. They're going to have a vehicle warehouse, and you're going to have a vehicle warehouse. High level. They're going to have a vehicle warehouse vehicle. That's one difference. You don't need to have one to receive. So if you're simply receiving for the first time, you don't have to have one if you don't have money. But it's preferred to have one because you don't want to be somebody who always takes and never gives back. So I highly recommend it. Then basically in terms of steps, what they're going to do is they're going to invite you to their vehicle warehouse. So the person who is gifting does all the work mostly. And you think of uh, gifting from like a solid building, right? So the person who's gifting goes to their vehicle warehouse. So and then from their vehicle warehouse, you also show up. I prefer to be invited through their CEO. So the person who's gifting will send you a CEO invite, and then you accept the CEO invite. Again, this is a high level summary. It's fast. It's just so you know the whole process. So you accept the CEO invite that they sent you, and then they'll send you an invite to their vehicle warehouse. The reason this is a good idea is because then you don't have to worry about, on the way there getting a gang war or cops, whatever. You just spawn exactly where you need to spawn. Once you spawn there, they kick you out of their CEO or you exit the CEO. Either way, you are no longer in the vehicle warehouse. So therefore, right outside the vehicle warehouse, you request your MOC. And in the MOC, you make sure that both of you, the third part of the cab in your MOC has personal vehicle storage. All right, so you request your MOC, but you don't do anything. You stand there. That's the most important thing about receiving from the gift card friends glitch, is that you try to avoid doing as much things as possible because that's the most helpful thing you can do. because if you move around too much, you'll break the glitch, or an NPC can knock you. Whatever happens, if you die, the glitch is broken. So you just want to stay very immobile. So the person who is gifting goes and picks up the MOC where it spawns. Um, because you're not in the CEO, you can request an MOC, and you basically send them a screenshot of where it spawned, and they will go get it. Once they've come back, they will park the MOC somewhere that is secure and where you have a strong blue circle behind the MOC where you can enter. When the MOC is parked, you make sure that you get into the MOC and you check what car there is. If there's no car, you just check your mutual like insurance, make sure that it's not destroyed. If it is destroyed, check what vehicle's in it, walk in there, like after you get it back from insurance, because you don't want to have a vehicle that you want to keep, because the vehicle ultimately that is going to be used in the gift card of friends glitch will get deleted and replaced by the car that your friend wants to give you. So we call that a donor car. So the donor vehicle, you want to make sure it's a car you do not want to keep. You can get one of the free ones, or a cheap one, but you just want to make sure that you don't want to keep it. Second thing about the MOC, and I know this is supposed to be high level, but I just want to make sure that this is clear, and I'll repeat it later. You don't just buy if you have something in your MOC, a car that you want to keep, whatever you do, don't just buy any vehicle and purchase it and store it into the MOC immediately, because that'll delete it. So what I mean by that is if I have like an amazing police car in the MOC and I want to keep it, but I don't have a donor car, what I make sure that I don't do is I make sure that I don't just go into southern San Andreas, buy a car or get a free car, and then the option is to mobile operation center and select that, because that'll delete whatever car is in the mobile operation center. So that's why you want to make sure that you check the mobile operation center before and make sure that the car there is not something you want to keep, and that you replace it with a donor car. All right, so now your MOC is there, your donor car is there. What you do is you get into your MOC, you drive the car out. Your friend that wants to give you the car drives into passenger side, and then they will press the pause button, which is the map button. You will, while they're in the pause mode, you will drive over to the back of the MOC, the circle, and you're going to press the right D-pad button once when you see the prompt. That'll kick the gifter out, your friend, and then you get out the car and you have your friend drive it and securely park it away from NPCs, away from everybody. Once they've parked their vehicle, again, you're just basically standing still, avoiding traffic and everything, so maybe you moved a little bit. They will invite you to the CEO, and you accept the invite to the CEO. And then the person who is giving the car, they need to have a vehicle from the vehicle warehouse. And what I mean by that is like a ramp buggy, a Voltic, coil Voltic, whatever vehicle actually gets stored in the vehicle warehouse. If you don't have one of those, you want to make sure you get like a Ruiner 2000 or a coil Voltic. If you really just want to know what are the two best cars to get, what are the most common cars, those would be it. Otherwise, I'll go in more detail what else is available. But it's not everything. If you get the 4x4, it's not going to work. Anyway, so they'll bring out their vehicle from the vehicle warehouse. At which point you're going to get into the, let's assume we got the Ruiner 2000, brings it out. They go into the passenger side. At this point, you're both in the CEO, their CEO. They're in the driver's side, you're in the passenger side. They open their blue interaction menu, and they drive over to the garage door and then knock it. After they knock the garage door, you as the one receiving the vehicle will open up your blue interaction menu. And then once you've done that, they close their blue interaction menu. That's going to bring them into their vehicle warehouse. Look, I know there's other ways to do this, but this is the way that works. for me, and if there's a new way, I'll maybe make a video of it sometimes. But right now, this still works. So they pick you up in their vehicle, special vehicle from the vehicle warehouse. They open up their blue interaction menu as the driver. They drive into the garage door. Boom. They hit the garage door. Puff. All right. At that point, you open up your blue interaction menu as the passenger. So now you have two interaction menus open, and you let the driver know that your interaction menu is open. They close theirs by pressing circle. This will bring them into the vehicle warehouse, and you're going to stay outside of the vehicle warehouse. At which point you go, because at this point you're in the CEO. At this point, when you're outside of the vehicle warehouse, you leave the CEO as the associate. Not anyway, you understand what I'm saying. And then you request your MOC. As the person gifting, again, they go and pick it up. So you just send them a screenshot and say, hey, you see where it spawns, send them a screenshot, and then they go pick it up. They drive it back securely. In this, they drive it back to a secure spot again. This time they don't have the donor vehicle out because you parked it safely away. So the person who is gifting will park the vehicle very safely, and then what you really want is to have a nice big blue circle behind the MOC. The person who is receiving the MOC needs to have story mode. So if you don't have story mode, this won't work. So the person receiving the MOC will press down on their D-pad and select one of the characters from story mode, and then press circle to quit story mode. That's why I'm still here. So circle quit. And you do that 3 times. After the 3rd time, you're going to have this blue circle in front of you. You step into the blue circle. You're going to get a prompt that says enter alone or other option. Who cares what the other option is? You enter alone. Then all of a sudden, everything goes completely black. At which point, your friend needs to go to this location exactly here. And they need to then spawn the vehicle that they want to gift to you. So I'm just going to get to the spot. So they spawn the vehicle that they want to gift to you once they're at the spot. Like so. And I got lucky. It spawned exactly where I wanted to spawn. If it doesn't spawn here, be kind and drive it over and then get out of the car. And here's a good hint of where it is. It's got 0605 on it. And if you here, this is the arena. You go all the way up. Here's the lake. You go further down. It's a little bit below the lake. Here you'll have a house, and it's right there. And another clue of where it is. It's Go Postal. Hey, try hard. All right, so that's a summary. And then what's going to happen from here is you all of a sudden end up back in your MOC. Now, when you go and get into the car, you're going to feel like you're in an out-of-body experience. You got to get close to the car and then press triangle to get in. And then all of a sudden, boom, once you're in the car, all of a sudden you're in the MOC. You got to drive out of the MOC once, drive back into the MOC. This saves the car as yours. Now, obviously, if you're driving someone else's car, what does that mean? It means that under Manage Vehicles, Vehicle Preferences, they need to have Access Everyone. And high-level summary, that's how it works. That's it. That's all there is to it. But now I'm going to go through each individual step. So let's start with, now we know you both need to be friends. And in terms of other settings, let's go with settings. So first of all, you both need to be friends. Second of all, do this in an invite-only server. Thirdly, go to Manage Vehicles, Vehicle Preferences, Vehicle Access Everyone. So both of you need to have that. Go to your Service Vehicle, Mobile Operations Center, Cab Access, put Everyone. because you have to have your friend drive over. So it's just better to have everyone while you're doing this. That's the settings you need to have. In terms of, let's go with businesses. We talked about the CEO office. It's the most important business. What if it doesn't work? It works. If it doesn't work, it's probably because you're like I'm going through detail of the settings and the requirements. So one of those things is wrong. So if you stick around, I'll go through all the settings and everything. And like the number one is you both have to be friends. So if you have everything absolutely right, but you're not friends on PSN, that's not going to work. All right, so let's go to the office. So obviously you need an office, CEO office. And I say obviously because the vehicle warehouse can only be purchased through the CEO office. And also you need to be a CEO while doing this. Let's head on over to the CEO. That's the number one business you need to have. Oh, this is not even my office. Is it? Oh, that's my friend's office. In my own office. Now I'm gonna go through these steps slowly, and I'll show you like kind of the businesses where to find them. Um, this method you can't have the same vehicle warehouse. That's another thing we need to mention. Cannot be the same, but we'll go through those steps as we go. So we did a high level summary, right? Not if it's not working, you did everything in the high level summary. Let's go into detail. Maybe there's something you're missing in the detail. So let's go through that. So you have an office. You can have the same office. That's fine. That's not a problem. You can both own the same office. But try hard to ask the question, what if it doesn't work? Then there's something wrong in the settings, in the businesses you own. So we'll go through that. Can I get into my office? Oh, is this my Anna? Do I not have an office on this account? I do. An office? Oh, I don't have a nice office. So even people like us that do this all the time get confused. Sorry, I'm really a little bit of bronchitis. All right, let's go to that office. Now this is the detailed steps, and it's if it's not working, go through every single part of this. Look for hints in everything I say, because there's no reason it's not working unless you've done something wrong. All right, so this is my office. I hope I, I hope I don't have a cutscene.
Looking good, boss.
Oh, thank goodness. So I have to register as a CEO, and then I go to the laptop. All right, so then you get into the laptop. Oh, this is more like a computer. All right, so so you need to buy a business. The business you need to buy is vehicle cargo, the one you're seeing on your screen. This is why we're going step by step.
Now we're on the vehicle cargo summary. It's breakdown of company activity, what we've been up to. If you want to move to a warehouse somewhere else in the city, click on the vehicle warehouse map link at the top of the page and you'll get a fair trading price for your current property.
So this
And
is
if you want to
showing you
start
where
sourcing
your current
vehicles, you click the green Source
vehicle warehouse is.
And finally, you can click Renovate Warehouse if you want to change up the look of the place.
If you go to warehouse map, you'll see where all of them are. So we talked about earlier how you can both have the same office. So if you both have the same exact office, it's not going to work this way. There might be methods where same office works, but my method, you can't have the same office. Highly recommend you don't have the same office either, because a lot of people who do this don't know the new method or the other method where you can have the same office. So first time you do it, just make sure you don't have the same sorry, not the same office. I apologize. You don't have the same vehicle warehouse. All right. I'll take that back. Let's do a little rewind. We the office. All right. So we rewind. Go to vehicle cargo. Then you go to warehouse map. And in the warehouse map, you and your buddy, the person that is going to be giving you the vehicle, you need to make sure that you don't both have the same vehicle warehouse. You can have the same office, but you can't have the same vehicle warehouse. So if you have yours here, they can have theirs here. No biggie. They can have theirs here. It doesn't matter if you're receiving. All the action is happening at the person who's giving you the vehicle anyway. The only thing that matters is you're not in the same. Neither of you have the same vehicle warehouse. All right. So that's two businesses that you need to own. And then we'll talk about the third business. You need to own a bunker. Now, I love to do bunker missions, so I have my bunker in a good spot. But if you're never going to do bunker missions, just get the cheapest bunker you can get. You got to go through the cutscene. All of these businesses have to be functional as well, just FYI. You can't just like buy business and then do the glitch. You got to go through the cutscenes. I think I'm saying it. It probably went without saying, but just so you know. So you buy a bunker, and then you go in. So you activate all the businesses that we mentioned: the vehicle warehouse, the bunker. So you have an office, a vehicle warehouse from the office computer. So it's still a business. And then you have the bunker. All right. So those are the businesses you need to own. Those are the settings. We spoke about settings. We spoke about businesses now. Now we're going to talk about vehicles you need to own. For the first time you receive, this is the bare minimum. Now this might go a little bit against what I say in other videos, but it's just because we're talking about bare minimum what you need. I don't recommend this. So the person who is receiving the vehicle needs to have a mobile operation center. And in Bay 3, they need to have personal vehicle storage in the mobile operation center. So that is found at Warstock Cash and Carry. You go to the mobile operation center. And then you go to Bay 3. And you select personal vehicle storage. You have to do that. Both people. I'm actually going to stick to that. Both people need to have these things so far that we spoke about. All right? The one thing that separates is just the vehicle from the vehicle warehouse that you need to have. Now, if you go to your blue interaction menu, you go to manage vehicles, you have what they call special vehicle. And part of those special vehicles are vehicles that are stored in the vehicle warehouse because you can't store them anywhere else and it's gone through the app. part of them. So not every vehicle in a special vehicle is good for this glitch. Just keep that in mind. I'll tell you which ones are good for the glitch, and everything else cannot be used. So if you go to Warstock Cash and Carry again, and then you go towards down, 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 it's called the Import and Export DLC. And you'll notice it because all of a sudden they become quite rusty. All right. So first thing, they need to be part of the Import and Export DLC. Secondly, see this little guy or entity or person? Needs to be a minimum of 2 people here. So if you have anything less than 2, it will not work even if it's part of the import export. So 2, 5, 3, these work. So you got the, what is that? You got a ramp buggy, you got a phantom wedge, you got technical aqua, because they can have 2 or more passengers, not less than 2. Then you have part of the import export, a Blazer Aqua. Oh, that looks not good. It can only, you only have 1 passenger. So this is out, X, Blazer Aqua. Don't tell me I didn't tell you. If you get this one because it's the cheapest, well, it's not going to work. And then you have part of the import export. You got the armored boxed, whatever. Yeah, that one would work. Part of the import export, you got the Wastelander, that'll work. Part of the import export, you got the Runer 2000, 2 people. Yeah, that'll work. Part of the import export, Rocket Voltic. And then that's it. So Rocket Voltic, Runer, Armored Boxville, Wastelander, Technical Aqua, from the part of the import export, not to be mistaken by others. Phantom Wedge and Ramp Buggy. All right, those are the eligible vehicles for this glitch, and only the person who's giving needs to have it. Technically, I don't recommend it. I don't recommend it because if you give cars to somebody who can't give cars back to you, what's the incentive for them to ever get that, expensive vehicle warehouse vehicle? All right, so that's the settings. We went over the settings. We went over the businesses, and now we went over the vehicles required. So now we're actually ready to rumble. Now this is the character that's going to be receiving. So we talked about receiving the vehicle. And when I said that when we talked about the high level summary, we talked a lot about the person who is giving the vehicle because the person who's receiving does almost nothing. So as a receiver, you'll get you have the person who's giving you the vehicle send you an invite to their CEO. What, and have them send you an invite in their CEO once they're in their own vehicle warehouse. And again, just double check that you're both not in the same vehicle warehouse. Now, if the person's like, "Hey, I can't find you. I'm trying to add you in my CEO, but I can't find you," check that you're not already in a CEO like I was. Apparently I'm in an activity. What activity? Alright, just clearing up some stuff. This stuff happens, and like I'm sure for you guys, you notice the same thing. Like, you're trying to do something, and all of a sudden all these things are happening. Oh, my controller's a bit weird. Oh my god, I didn't realize I was streaming on two things. Sorry guys, you probably heard me snorting. I'm gonna delete that. Oh, I thought I was on mute. Have like a bit of bronchitis. Oh, well, I'll save it. Whatever, man. It's not my fault. I'm sick. So it looks like I was on some sort of, I don't know. It's glitching out on me, so I just restarted. I'm just waiting for the other character to get back in the session. Hello, hello. When I said it would go slow, I didn't think it'd go this slow. The other session was off. Oh my goodness. It was like snorting, making noises. Hopefully they didn't hear me. All right. So just so any people know, I'm in Sydney, Australia. It's 1:30 p.m. right now, and I'm heading over. Okay, so I'm gonna get an invite now to the CEO. And then I'm gonna get an invite inside the vehicle warehouse. And this is how I recommend. Again, we're going step by step. That's how I recommend that you do it to get into the area you need to be in without any kind of damage anywhere. And then once you're in the vehicle warehouse, you just leave the CEO as the person receiving the vehicle. And then you don't register as a CEO. You go to Service Vehicles, Mobile Operations Center, request mobile operation. From this point, you go and send a screenshot of where your mobile operation has spawned. Oh my goodness, it's far. It's pretty weird. And the person who will be transferring over the vehicle will go ahead and pick it up. You can see them getting that. And as you notice, I'm doing absolutely nothing. As the person receiving, I'm just checking on the map where they're at. Now, if somebody says, "Hey, I know exactly where it is," like, don't believe them. Still send them a screenshot. You'd be surprised how often, like when you try to describe a spot, you literally both think that you are describing the same spot, but you're actually going in a completely different direction. All right. So at this point, the person who's going to be giving the vehicle is going to bring over the MOC. Now, as a receiver, you want to prepare yourself, right, to check the car that's stored in the MOC. You don't do anything, but you want to just mentally prepare yourself that, hey, I'm going to need to see if there's a car in the MOC or a car that could have been in the MOC that got destroyed. I want to make sure that it's not a car that I want to keep. Because there are only two vehicles that you're going to be bringing out during this whole process. One, the one that you are putting in the MOC is the one that's going to get deleted. And two, the one that's you're going to spawn into the MOC is going to be the vehicle that has overridden the deleted vehicle. So you want to make sure that you don't lose the car you love, which I have done. All right. So the person who's giving the car has returned the MOC, and because, look, remember, this is the person who's giving you their car. This is their vehicle warehouse. No one knows their vehicle warehouse better than they do. Oh, so I know which car I'm going to give as a donor. It's going to be the car that is scratched. Right now it's the Duke, but I actually don't want to give that as the donor car. The car that I want to give as a donor car is this one. And I don't need to explain why. Just know that this is the car that I want to give as a donor car. So what I'm going to do, there's a Duke in the back of the MLC. I'm going to go and I'm going to drive the car that I want to delete in the back of the MLC. And I'm going to press right. You're going to get this big screen when there's already a car. Adding this vehicle to mobile operation that will cause your current stored personal vehicle to be transferred to a garage. Transferred. At this point in time, I haven't deleted it. We just switched places. The Duke went and is now stored where this was previously stored, and then this is now stored where the Duke was previously stored. So, all right. So once you're inside the MOC, we're going to call it the MOC, by the way, because nobody's going to spend their whole day saying Mobile Operations Center. Once you're in the MOC, you walk out like I just did, then you walk back in, and then you send an invite to the person who's going to give you the car. And then the person who's giving you the car, I keep doing that. I keep getting another invite from a different thing and then accepting the wrong one. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So you wait for the person to accept the invite. Oh my goodness. So I send an invite again. It's like a weird lag between me pressing buttons and it being pressed. That's why I'm struggling a little bit. All right, so here is the gifter or giver. Now, I'd like to invite the person giving me the car into the mobile operations center, into the MOC, while I'm there, because it's safer. Teleporting is always going to be safer than trying to travel or anything like that. So you can see this is really close to roads and NPCs. They could get run over, they could start some sort of fight. Want to avoid all that. All right, now, so you're both out of the MLC, and what you've noticed is that the person who is the giver is now in the pause menu. It's because they opened up their map, and only they do it. The person giving the vehicle goes into the pause menu, and then as the receiver, this is almost like the only job you have. You drive towards the blue circle, you'll get a little pop-up that says press right on D-pad to store this vehicle to your mobile operations center. You press it once. Also, just want you to notice that when a car drives by, the circle goes black. If that happens while you're trying to do this glitch, it'll fail at certain points. It'll fail, so you have to restart it all. In this case, we haven't pressed right, so it hasn't failed. And now we press right when there's a strong blue circle, and it kicked out the person who's going to be giving the car. Now this needs to be parked somewhere safely. I am an expert, so I backed up and parked it clearly away from traffic. If you're not comfortable with that, if you keep driving it accidentally into your MLC, don't hesitate to have the person who is giving you the car drive it somewhere safe, so you both get out and they drive it. And because they can't go into the blue circle, that's why it's a lot easier for them to do it. At this point, they're going to send you an invite to their CEO, which you will accept. And then they're going to request that special vehicle we talked about. In this case, it's going to be a Runer 2000. So, the high level summary is matching up very carefully with what we spoke, like with the step by step. It's just a step by step, there's a few details, a few nuances. And that's what makes the whole glitch work, is just making sure you take care of absolutely every little detail. All right, so now you're in the CEO. You can tell because you're both orange. Get into the car. The person who's giving has to drive. And the person who's giving has opened up their blue interaction menu. I'll show you what it looks like, but I'm going to close it right away. That's the blue interaction menu that I'm talking about. Now the person who's giving will drive the vehicle over to the garage door that usually spawns them into the vehicle warehouse, and then tap it. At which point the person receiving the vehicle opens up their blue interaction menu like I'm showing you right here. Alright, so both interaction menus are open, so the person who's receiving the vehicle says to the person giving, hey, my blue interaction menu is open, you can close yours. Only then does the person who's driving the vehicle, or the one giving the gifting, do they press circle to close their blue interaction menu. At which point, it will bring the gifter into their vehicle warehouse, and it'll leave the person receiving out, and the person receiving can leave the CEO, and then the person receiving goes to service vehicles, mobile operations center, request mobile operations center like they did earlier, and then they will tell the person who is giving where that mobile operations center has spawned. They will send them a screenshot, and that screenshot will look like that. So that allows them to go and get it. And then you just wait. You want to stay away from traffic. You're just outside of the vehicle warehouse. There's absolutely nowhere else you need to be. All right, so you just wait. Super easy. It's easy. Is there a different method? Like, well, I haven't even finished explaining this method. Oh, are you asking is this a different method from say the one that was there 3 months ago? That's why I like to do this like as often as possible. Because this method still works. That's what you meant, right? Sorry, I didn't mean to be a bit facetious there, but I think I thought you initially I thought you were asking is there a different method because this method is too complicated or something. But this is the same method probably that most people have been doing. I just do it really well and it still works. Sorry. All right, so and I'm really focusing on the receiver because you know how sometimes you have a friend that you really want to give them a car and as a receiver they just don't know what to do, they're confused and there's not a lot of content for for people that need that help. And then I'll do one for the person giving the car. And I put the date in the title so people know when it was posted so they can decide whether they feel, you know, hey, this is a new video. It was made on this date. It's probably still good, kind of thing, right? Because I noticed that there's some videos that didn't show when it was 3 months old, and I'm like, uh, do I open up 16 videos that are 3 months old to see if any of those methods work? All right, here we go. So the person who's giving the vehicle, the who's gifting the vehicle has brought back the MOC. And they're going to do something fun. They're going to go and stand in the back of the MOC and they're going to press R1 to hide. Now this is not technically required. As somebody provides streams, this is very useful so you can kind of see both people here, like, you know. But also, it's a process. This is how I learned the process. I like it. It has a visual impact. I recommend you follow it, and it works. There's other ways to do it, but this is the way that I'm doing it. All right, so once you see the blue circle, press down on the D-pad. Now you see 4 faces. Sometimes you see less. One of them is yours. You select any one that is not yours. So you still have your finger down on D-pad, and then you just joystick to any of them, and then you let go of both buttons, and it's going to give you this warning or quit message. You press circle to not go ahead with whatever they're asking you to do. Let's do that again. We're going to do that 3 times. Select anybody, let go, quit. Are you sure you want to quit this session? Progress will automatically be saved. No, circle. And then we do it one more time. Or blah, blah, blah. No, circle. And then after the 3rd time, you walk into a very sturdy blue circle, and you have on the top left, you see it says enter alone. You enter alone. Now, we mentioned that you need to be friends. And that's why you need to be friends. Like, you actually need to be PSN friends. Because if you are not PSN friends, that is actually going to not work. Now, you'll see a black screen. And most of the time, whenever you see a black screen, it's over. Something bad happened. But this case, if you see anything like a loading circle, it's over. If it's fully black, that's exactly what you want. So right now, it's exactly what I want. It's fully black screen. So I'm very happy with this black screen. All right. Meanwhile, the person who's giving the car, is at the spot. We're going to spawn in the spot, and then we're going to leave the spot as part of the process, but I'll explain where the spot is after all of that. So let's just call it the spot. So the person is at the spot where it needs to drop off the vehicle. They know where that is. And then we go ahead and bring the vehicle that we want to transfer over to this account. And it's the Paragon R. And then they'll, if it doesn't spawn in the right spot, they can go and move it. Now you can be in the black screen for quite a while before you get kicked out, so don't worry about it. You get at least 15 minutes. You get a 13-minute warning, a 10-minute warning. You're fine. Now, another thing that needs to be that is really, really important, which I didn't mention earlier, and I do apologize. Well, I might have mentioned it. Things were going pretty slow. Under settings, under the Blue Interaction menu, under Manage Vehicles, for both players, you need to make sure that vehicle preference, vehicle access, everyone. Vehicle access is everyone. And you do the same with the MLC, but the MLC it's going to be obvious because all of a sudden the person can't access it when you're trying to do the glitch, so you just tell the person, hey, can you give me access? But this part, whenever the person's picking up the car from the spot, they need to be able to get into it. Alright, so now what you do is you press down on the D-pad when your mate tells you that, hey, the car's in the spot. Press down on the D-pad and try to remember in your head, hey, which head did I select, or where were the heads earlier when I pressed down on the D-pad story mode thing? And then you let go of the two joysticks as if you could see it, and then you press circle again. You don't want to go to story mode, and you're going to be in some weird out-of-body experience kind of situation. Just walk towards the car, press triangle when you get close to it, and there you go, you get into the car. Boom. Remember I told you earlier that you're going to see the spot momentarily, then you're going to leave the spot real quick, and then what did I promise you? That I would tell you where that spot is, where your friend has to go and drop off the vehicle. Promise made, promise kept. So what I will show you now is where that spot is. Alright. Now I'm only showing it as the receiver more out of information, right? So before I show the spot, let's complete the process. Once you're in the MOC, you get into the vehicle, you drive out of the vehicle, and then you drive back into the MOC. Why do you do that? Because it saves the vehicle as a stored vehicle in your MOC. If you don't do that and you leave the game, there's a chance, and sometimes it doesn't fail and sometimes it does fail, so there's a chance that it won't save the vehicle. So just remember that once you spawn into the MLC, you drive out and then you drive back in. And in this case I walked out, but I walked out only to show you where the spot is. Alright, so the spot in question is, and when I talk about spot, is when you were in that black screen, your character was like in nowhere land. But then when you did the whole press down, where you're blind, but you pressed down and you selected a character, and then you got this screen and you press circle, no. Then all of a sudden you appeared somewhere, you'd run into the car, and then all of a sudden you reappeared back in the vehicle warehouse. So where were you? This is mostly for information for the receiver, because it doesn't really matter. You were over here. So the spot in question, where you need to drop off the vehicle, this is the arena war. Here's the lake. Oh, gone too far. Somewhere here. Now, just look at some of the reference points to help you. I'm going to go slow. Not everybody has all these map blip options. So just think about the fact that this is a hairdresser, this is a clothing store, there's a gun over here, right? So if you zoom out, there's a monkey over here. Not everybody has all of these things, but everybody has LS Customs. They have the clothing shop, they have this scissors. So I'm showing this fashion because sometimes when you're doing the glitch and then they zoom in, they zoom out so fast that you don't have a chance to see the reference points. So there you go. So that's the spot. And now you have a car. If you're doing this back to back, you want to make sure that this vehicle that's in the MLC that you just received, that you obviously wanted because you deleted another vehicle to get it, it gets stored somewhere else. And the best way to do that is to bring a donor vehicle into the MOC. So you could buy like free cars or cheap bikes. They must have 2 passengers. We talked about that earlier when it came to the vehicle warehouse vehicle, but same thing, needs to have 2 passengers. And I want this car in this garage. So I'm going to take a vehicle that's from that garage and I'm going to request it from my mechanic. Now keep in mind the vehicle that you just received, that you drove out of the MLC, drove back in to save it, is still in the MLC. The Duke was in Vinewood Club Garage 1. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to spawn the Duke through my mechanic, and then I'm going to drive the Duke over to the blue spot, and I'm going to press right to put it into the MOC. And it's going to give me this long message. Adding this vehicle to your mobile operations center will cause your currently stored personal vehicle to be